Hello and welcome to my next process video. As you can see, I've chosen the photos I'm going to use today, and I've also got my Distress Oxides ready. The colours I'm using I've put up on the screen there for you if you can't see them on the actual film very well. And for the actual layout, I'm going to be using the September kit from Lottie Loves Paper, and also the Vicky Bouton Field Notes collection, also from Lottie Loves Paper. There are some of the Field Notes collection ephemera and papers in the September kit, and then I've got extras of the papers and some of the other embellishments and ephemera. And as you can see, I've also got the pack of stencils. So I'm using the heart one today, but it actually comes with 3 different stencils in the pack. There's the hearts, there's a sort of like grunged up circles one, and then there's one with different sort of random shapes on that you can sort of like use as sort of like mixed media backgrounds. So I'm using the stencil brush to apply the ink to the paper, and as I don't want much moisture on there, I'm just using a wet wipe just to dampen the brush off, and it just helps pick up the pigment, the ink off of the acetate as well. So I'm starting with the lightest colour first, which is the Antique Linen, and then I will work my way darker. I want to blend the colours in on one edge of the hearts. So I'm just about done with the Antique Linen there, and then I'm just going to wipe the acetate off with the wet wipe, and what that actually does is transfers just a little bit of moisture to the acetate as well, so I don't need to go onto the wet wipe as much this time because there is a little bit of moisture underneath the ink on the acetate. So it doesn't look like it very well on here, but I am actually just concentrating on the right hand side of the hearts with the brush. I'm trying not to go all the way over the hearts because I want some of the lighter ink to still be there. And then I'm going to go with the evergreen bow at the end, bow, and I've used a smaller brush because I just want a sort of finer line, a more sort of defined line in the darker one. Again, concentrating on the right hand side. Another thing about doing this with the with just the wet wipe only, adding that little bit of moisture, is you can rub the paper quite a lot then and sort of blend the colours in together without the paper pilling, with which it would happen if you put too much water or moisture on there. So that washi tape wasn't as low tack as I thought it was, so it was quite a hassle to get it off the paper, but I did it without too much damage happening. So as you can see, that's the blended hearts now, and I'm just looking at the placement of the photos. So I've got the large photo there, and then the one I'm just cutting now is actually 4 photos in one that I used a collage app on my phone to make into like one photo before I ordered them to be printed. So this is part of our Italian adventure that we've just come back from, and this was the day that we hiked across the coastline of the Amalfi Coast, and it's called the Path of the Gods. And the scenery was just absolutely spectacular because you are literally walking along the coast but up on the cliffs, and it was tough going. We were out for nearly 5 hours hiking. So we did treat ourselves to a refreshing drink at the end of it. And the heat over there was quite intense, but it was an enjoyable day, and it's what we go on holiday for, is the adventure and to explore on foot, and to experience everything we can whilst we're over there. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going through the kit, the add-on papers from the kit. So as you can see, I'm using the white and blue. The strip there is from the Pretty Little Studio Savannah Dreams. Also the yellow one there with the white hearts on is also from Savannah Dreams, and the other one is one of the Vicki Boutin papers. So what I was trying to get there is just one heart coloured in on that paper, the heart paper from Pretty Little Studios. There's only like the one little heart that is coloured in, so I wanted that on the paper, just to sort of like, because obviously I've got the hearts on the other side as well, so it just highlights that. So I'm happy with the placement of those photos, so I was just going to start matting it, and I was going to mat it straight onto the green at first, and then I thought, no, actually it needs to pop off of the green a little bit, so I decide I'm just going to put it on a white background first and then onto the green. Right, out comes the big guillotine for this. I tend to use my trimmer for patterned papers and thin cardstock, but anything just that slight bit bigger does dull the blades quite quickly. So I just use my guillotine if I'm going to be using just that little bit heavier card. So as you can see, just with that white border on it now, it just sort of pops off of the green that little bit more. And I'm just going to add a little bit more of that yellow onto the page, just for a pop of colour on there. Whilst I finish cutting that and then matting the smaller photos, I'll just let you know that the travel notebook that I took with me to Scrap about our adventures as we went, the video for that, the flip through for that, has been uploaded onto my channel as well. So please do have a look at that if you want to see how I scrap on the go and keep all the memory making pieces that we collect along our travels as well. So I'm happy with the papers and what I've done with them, so I'm just going to stick those down a moment. So as I said, this is the papers, and some of the ephemera I use are from the September kit, and the rest of it is the Vicki Boutin Field Notes collection, which is right up my street. It's a bit messy in parts. It's all about being out in the field and having adventures, really. So it really does suit the this holiday that we've just come back from really well. And I do love the Vicki Boutin stuff anyway. I also like the Savannah Dreams collection that's with this kit, as Pretty Little Studios haven't done 12 by 12s before, so this is their first 12 by 12 collection, and I'm liking it, and it does go really well. Sarah has matched it really well with the Field Notes collection as well. So I'm just using a bit of foam, self-adhesive foam on the back there, just to lift that photo off of the page just a little bit. And then comes the most gorgeous words, and obviously the first word that I choose is adventure. And then I'm looking, thinking big adventure, not quite, no. And then I find the word beautiful, which, as I said, the scenery around the Amalfi Coast is absolutely beautiful, breathtaking as well. And the nice thing about these stickers, again, the black puffy words, is that you can place them on top of the photos, as I've done, and it was just the right placement as well, with the F coming down between our heads. And then what I'm doing is just picking out some of the other shapes off of the sheet, and I do use some of the black dots on there to sort of like represent ink splats that I'm not going to put on this page. And I do try and place them quite randomly, but I am a little bit, yeah, I'm still working on the random placement of these. Obviously with ink splats you've no choice but to be random, but with sort of like the dots and sequins and things like that, I'm still working on the random thing. Now this is out of one of the Field Notes packs, and it's a circle that actually says, "Blessed are the curious, for they shall have adventures." And so I thought that was quite fitting to fit on the page somewhere. Oops, can't quite pick up the pieces I want it to off of the papers. They were just stuck on that little bit more for my nails to get underneath. So the trusty old knife comes out, the craft knife came out to just lift them off the page. So I'm quite happy with that placement. Now these are watercolour stickers, so I was just trying one of those at the top to see if it would fit, but I'm not wanting to add any more colour to the layout now. So I've put that one back, and I've now picked out the stickers. Now these stickers are really nice because they're obviously printed in black and white, but they are alterable. So you can colour them, watercolour, ink, pens. Natalie has done a most fantastic thing with one of the flowers. I think it was actually from the ephemera pack, the black and white one there, and she's actually used it as a stitching template and hand stitched photos onto her layout, which looks absolutely fantastic. I'll link her Instagram account down below so that you can go and check it out. It is amazing what she's done with it. But as I said, I didn't want to add any more colour to the layout, so I've left them. I just wanted to do them as sort of monochrome embellishments there. I was just looking at a journaling spot to see if it would fit, but again, it was just too big, and I didn't quite like it. So as you'll see in a minute, I did actually add one of the Pretty Little Studio journaling strips to the bottom, just to say where we were on what date. So that's the finished layout. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back hopefully next week with another process video. Thanks, bye.